Welcome to TRN Podcast episode 126. Today we're taking a close look at the latest ADAC breakdown stats for 2025. Specifically, we're comparing the reliability of electric cars versus good old combustion engines.
Right. And the data is pretty solid this time around. We're talking over 3.6 million ADAC callouts in 2024, covering, 159 different model series. So, yeah, it gives us a really good foundation.
Exactly. A solid base to answer that key question. Which type of car is actually more reliable? Which one breaks down more often?
And it's timely, too, because the number of EVs on the road has shot up. That makes the comparison statistically much more meaningful now.
Okay, so let's jump right in. What's the headline finding when you compare them overall?
Well, the main takeaway is pretty clear, actually. Electric vehicles overall seem to be less prone to breakdowns than comparable combustion engine cars.
Less prone, how much less?
If you look at cars aged 2 to 4 years old, sort of that sweet spot for newer vehicles, the combustion engines, petrol and diesel, had about 2.5 times more breakdowns in 2024 compared to electric cars.
2.5 times. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
That's quite a gap.
it is. To put some specific numbers on it, per 1,000 registered vehicles in 2024, combustion engines had a breakdown rate of 9.4,
9.4. Okay. And EVs,
only 3.8.
3.8. So significantly lower. That definitely points towards EVs being more reliable in that age bracket.
It certainly looks that way based on this data, yes.
But I did see something about the number of EV breakdowns actually increasing, like by 46% or something. How does that fit in?
Yeah, that's a really important point to clarify. The absolute number of EV breakdowns did go up by 46%, but, and this is the crucial bit, the number of registered electric cars on the road increased by a massive 97% in the same period.
Oh, right. So way more EVs out there overall.
Exactly. So even though the total number of breakdowns went up, the rate of breakdowns per vehicle actually decreased. More cars, but proportionally fewer problems per car.
Okay, that makes sense. The rate is what really matters for individual reliability. Good. So let's talk about the star performers then. Which models came out on top?
Sure. Among the 2-year-old combustion cars, the MI&I had an incredibly low breakdown rate, just 0.3 per 1,000 vehicles.
0.3. That's tiny.
It really is. And the Audi A4 was close behind at 0.4.
Okay, impressive for the petrol side. What about electric?
The best performing EV was the Tesla Model 3 with a rate of 0.5. Still very, very low.
0.5. So MI&I, A4, Model 3, all super reliable in that age group.
Yeah, and actually, in total, there were 12 different models, a mix of combustion and electric, that had a breakdown rate under 1 per 1,000.
That's good to know. So top quality is available regardless of the powertrain.
Precisely.
All right, now for the other side of the coin. Which cars, well, didn't do so well? Any surprises there?
Oh, definitely a surprise. Several Toyota models, which usually have this reputation for being, bulletproof.
Yeah, Toyotas are known for reliability.
Exactly. But they showed surprisingly high breakdown rates in this report.
Really? Which ones?
The standout, unfortunately, was the Toyota CHR, specifically the 2020 model year. It had the highest breakdown rate in the whole statistic, 63.1 per 1,000 vehicles.
63.1. That's huge compared to the leaders. What was going on there?
It seems starter battery issues were a very common cause for the CHR, and also some other Toyotas that didn't fare so well, like the RV4, the Yaris, and the Yaris Cross.
Starter battery again.
Yeah. The good news, though, is that Toyota seems to have acknowledged this and apparently responded by introducing newer, more powerful batteries.
Okay, well, hopefully that fixes things for future stats. Any electric models down at the bottom?
Yes, the Hyundai Iona Q5 showed a relatively poor performance. Its breakdown rate was 22.4 per 1,000.
22.4. Still high, though not as bad as that CHR figure.
Yeah.
What was the issue there?
The main culprit seems to have been problems with the Integrated Charging Control Unit, the ICCU.
Ah, the charging system itself.
Exactly. It manages how the car charges. And these problems were significant enough that they actually led to a recall.
Right, I think I remember hearing about that recall. So that explains the higher rate.
It certainly seems to be the major factor for the Iona Q5 in this period.
Okay, so we've mentioned starter batteries a few times now. Was that the main cause of breakdowns overall across all car types?
Yes, absolutely. Just like in previous years, the number one reason for needing the ADAC was a faulty starter battery, the little 12-volt one.
Still,
Yeah,
even with all the advanced tech in cars now.
still. It accounted for a massive 44.9% of all callouts in 2024, almost half.
Wow, 45% basically. That's incredible. Is the problem worse for EVs or combustion engines?
Okay, this is where it gets a little nuanced. If you look at the percentage of breakdowns caused by the starter battery,
Yeah.
it's actually slightly higher for electric cars. 50.5% of their breakdowns were due to the starter battery, compared to 44.6% for combustion engines.
Wait, hang on. Higher percentage for EVs. But you said EVs break down less overall. How does that work?
Right, it sounds contradictory, doesn't it? But think about it like this. EVs have fewer other things go wrong. The electric powertrain itself is generally very reliable.
Okay.
So because there are fewer engine, transmission, or exhaust problems, for example, the starter battery issue makes up a larger slice of the smaller pie of total EV breakdowns.
Ah, I see. So proportionally it's bigger, but in absolute terms.
In absolute terms, looking at that 2 to 4-year-old group again, the breakdown rate specifically due to the starter battery is still higher for combustion engines. It's 4.0 per 1,000 vehicles for ICE.
4 per thousand from the battery alone.
Right, compared to only 1.7 per 1,000 for electric cars.
Okay, 1.7. So even though it's half of EV problems, it's still less common than battery problems in combustion cars.
Okay.
Got it. That makes much more sense.
Exactly. It just highlights how few other component failures EVs seem to suffer from compared to combustion cars. The main high-voltage battery, the one that actually drives the car, seems pretty robust.
That's a really important distinction. Thanks for clearing that up. So let's try and summarize the key takeaways from this ADAC data then.
Sure. The big message, really, is that according to these 2024 figures, electric cars generally appear more reliable than comparable combustion engine vehicles, especially in the first few years.
Despite the absolute number of EV breakdowns going up, the rate per car has actually improved because there were just so many more EVs now.
Precisely. So if reliability is high on your list, EVs seem to have an edge based on this data.
And the surprises were the weaker performance from some traditionally reliable Toyota models, mainly due to starter batteries.
And the issues the Hyundai iON IQ5 faced with its charging control unit, leading to a recall, things potential buyers should maybe be aware of or check on?
Absolutely. It really makes you think, doesn't it? Looking ahead, with electric mobility growing so fast, what does this mean for the industry?
Well, yeah. Where do manufacturers need to focus their efforts to ensure reliability stays high or improves across all types of vehicles, especially maybe on those seemingly simple components like the 12-volt battery?
Yeah. That's a great question to ponder. Where will the focus need to be? Fascinating stuff. Thanks so much for walking us through these stats.
My pleasure. It'll definitely be interesting to see how these trends evolve in the coming years.